Guys, we are back. Happy New Year to everybody. It's Monday, January 5th. And I tell you what, I'm joined here with my very special guest, boxing analyst, Rodney Green. We're going to talk about Anthony Joshua. We're going to talk about Ryan Garcia and much, much more. Guys, on the latest edition of War a Week Boxing.
Rashawn Holdings proudly presents WaraWeek Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herron.
Guys, welcome. Happy Monday evening to all of you guys. And I tell you what, Rodney, to start things off, brother, let's just talk about this. Mention this real quick. I know you bleed blue just like I do, and are you even interested in the rest of the football season, brother?
Man, I'm gonna have to be honest, Joseph. Not really, man. Not really, man. So I'm hoping, man, boxing can save us, man, for 26, though, man.
Well, I tell you what, we're gonna look at this month's calendar as well and dissect everything. But guys, we're gonna start off with something. Well, you'll see.
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
Looks like my computer's a little slow as usual.
Okay.
But look, one of the reasons why we're doing this, and don't get the wrong idea, guys, we're not about negativity. We just don't like ignorance being floated around the mainstream and boxing fans regurgitating this nonsense, right? Like the one thing to be on the lookout, guys, is YouTube is littered with this now. There are a lot of AI generated videos now that just they just and it's being confused with boxing news from the mainstream, getting thousands of likes, thousands of views, and it's all lies, guys. And so we are trying to combat that on this channel. That's going to be one of our segments, and we're starting with someone who perpetuates. I don't want to say he's lying because he doesn't think he is, but he's perpetuating ignorance, and it's not his fault unless you're in this business. How else would you know, Rodney, right?
Right.
Here we go, guys. This is Showbiz the Adult.
Picture of Naoya Inoue, Bam Rodriguez, and asking you in the post if this is what you want next and to comment. Listen, I want to make this 100% clear and drive this home. You boxing fans, the days and the times of when you say he can do what he wants, it's up to the boxer. The days and the times of you guys being controlled and manipulated. I keep telling you guys that it's on you, the war room. As far as the boxer, if the boxer wants money, if the boxer wants to be seen as great, it is all up to the boxing fan. Hit the Tyson bell. And the zone knows this, which is why they put up the post. Is this what you want to see next? And I know you guys are thinking, how about Nakatani? Inoue versus Nakatani was supposed to be next. You guys saw how the main event was Inoue and the co-main was Nakatani to set up a fight between the two right after. But what? We switched gears. Why? Because Hernandez got robbed. Hit the Tyson bam. For all of you out there who was trying to go up against the war room saying, hell no, Nakatani really won that fight, Hernandez wasn't robbed, then why the pivot? The pivot is because the fans were pissed and His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh was pissed. He was like, listen, Hernandez, he deserved the nod. But they gave it to Nakatani. But after Nakatani versus Hernandez performance, now we want to know, what do you want next? Inoue versus Nakatani or Inoue versus Bam Rodriguez? And a lot of you guys are hoping for Inoue versus Bam Rodriguez fight. Now, Naoya Inoue, in his post-fight interview, he was very humble about his performance, saying he didn't really like his performance against Picasso.
Okay. I'm gonna shut it off right there, Rodney.
Okay.
Look, first of all, if you felt that Junto Nakatani didn't deserve the win, well, once again, man, you're probably judging the fight as a whole, because the rounds that Hernandez won, he won overwhelmingly and did the much more overwhelming work. But too little, too late. That's not how you score a prize fight. And that's a problem with a lot of fans when they say, oh, this guy, like the Lomachenko-Devin Haney fight. Lomachenko started too late. Just like Lamont Peterson versus Denny Garcia. He didn't get going until after the 7th round. He had already lost the fight. Guys, that's not how you score a prize fight. That's one. And two, Rodney, he is telling you the truth that the fans have always been the real bosses of boxing, but not just the diehard fans. Right? These guys are mainstream commodities, both Junto Nakatani and Inoue in Japan. Who outside of the diehard boxing public know even who Bam Rodriguez is? So, guys, once again, there's a reason why that fight is still happening in Japan, because these guys are rock stars over there. How many prize fighters are rock stars in America these days, Rodney?
Maybe a handful, but maybe half a handful, if I'm being honest. So, okay.
Yep, that's it. So, what has to happen before we see Bam Rodriguez versus Naoya Inoue at 22?
Well, I mean, Bam has to continue to build his brand. And as we alluded to a couple shows ago, we don't, we haven't quite figured out, or I mean, there's been discussions that he's gonna sign with Zuffa Boxing, correct? I want to make sure that that is a possibility. They're gonna have to build his brand, put him in some marquee fights to where he is a true, uh, like you say, true top tier brand to where he can generate what they're doing over there in Japan. But as I said, man, at the end of the day, you can't condemn a promoter or a promotional outlet for making a certain fight because it makes good business sense. And the thing about in America, you have two rock stars when we had them, Canelo and Floyd and Pacquiao. Well, they let the fight marinate too long to where it
Yep.
took never in a day. It seems to be over there in Japan or even across the pond when they have fights, man, they try to get them done ASAP and everything. And that's a big difference. So man, I hope Bam does build his brand. I hope he does end up somewhere that's gonna foster his growth, put him into good fights, and man, where he ultimately, man, gets on that PPV stage. And who knows, man, maybe he can be the next guy that, every fight he has is pay-per-view worthy.
Yeah, and for those people who are saying, oh, he's too little, that's what everyone said about Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
And look, guys, and this is why we do this. Styles make fights. Remember, Junto Nakatani versus Naoya Inoue is a totally different style matchup for Junto, right? And that was his first fight at 122. And they stuck him in with a hard-nosed pressure fighter with a good chin who's going to bring it. And he was undefeated. Guys, give him a break. He still won that fight. Hernandez took too long to get started. It almost reminded me of Margarito versus Paul Williams. You remember that?
Oh man, never forget it. Never forget it. Come on, Joe. You know me.
Well, Margarito, he was busting him up in the last 3 or 4 rounds, but you don't win a fight like that unless you get the knockout, right? Paul Williams just won it by being the ring general, um, just peppering with shots.
Yeah.
Margarito did the more damage at the end of the fight, but oh well, that's the way it goes, and that's how you score a prize fight. So there it is, guys. There it is. But look, what has to happen, Rodney's absolutely correct. Bam has to do his brain trust, his handlers have to do a much better job of featuring him as a headliner. Both these guys, Junto Nakatani and Naoya Inoue, are headliners in their home country. Okay, and we're going to say hello to our dear friends in the chat, but I have to pull this up. Nakatani versus Inoue was for the Japanese fans, yes, in Japan, where it's still a mainstream pastime. Is boxing a mainstream pastime here in the great United States, Rodney?
Not like it was, man. Not
Not
like
even
it was.
close.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'll be honest, and we're not going to harp on this because we went over this in our year end, but have you ever seen the fight game this bad in the consciousness of the mainstream?
It's been a while, Joseph. I can't remember, and I've been watching boxing probably for 45 years now. I mean, I can't remember it just being in such a, a stagnant state, I should say. It's very stagnant. No kind of real huge momentum where it just gains that support where you can, man, we got a big fight coming up, man. We're excited, you know what I mean? And then, too, like I said, man, with us not really having a consistent platform or a platform that caters to a wide demographic. Yes, it's kind of unusual to say, Joseph, being what how we grew up watching boxing, the platforms, Showtime, HBO, ABC, always a true superstar, especially with American, background and ties. So yeah, very strange time in the sport of boxing, and we'll see if it changes for the better.
Well, for Bam Rodriguez specifically, first thing they have to do, whoever decides to promote him, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Zuffa Boxing. They have to make him a commodity locally first. Build that fan base in his hometown, one of the healthiest markets in America, which is San Antonio, the Alamo City.
Okay.
It's been a travesty that you're not going to build him into a large commodity because once again, a crowd attracts a crowd. You're not going to build his brand in Phoenix. You're not going to build his brand in Philadelphia, and you're definitely not going to build his brand buried on the undercard in Saudi Arabia.
Well, Joseph, let me ask you this though, and I've thought about this, over the weekend. Uh, if they do all that, okay, do you believe Bam has the personality though to be that crossover star
You know,
based on
I've
his
heard
experience?
that's a very good question. I've heard that a lot. But go back to the 90s.
Okay,
What kind of personality did Julio Cesar Chavez have?
okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Different era,
He
but
had the personality of a stick, and
yeah.
he didn't know a lick of English and was a rock star among the Mexican community here in America. He was a big pay-per-view attraction, right? And he's considered one of Mexico's, if not Mexico's greatest fighter ever.
Okay,
A large part of that though was he had Don King.
that's what I was
That
thinking.
okay, so he didn't have to do anything. He had the ultimate mouthpiece in boxing.
Yeah.
So with Dana White, this guy talks a lot as well, and he's got a cult following, so to speak. A lot of his fans love Dana White for reasons I have no idea. but when he talks, a lot of people listen. If he can just once again be the mouthpiece, just like Eddie Hearn is with most of his fighters. If you listen to everyone at Matchroom, most of his fighters don't talk very well. Most fighters don't. In fact, the last time I did an interview with Don King, it was in Corpus. I said, Don, if you could change anything in boxing, what would you change? He said, I'm getting too old. I would give all of my fighters a personality transplant.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have to work so damn hard. But if you look at Matchroom, and this is what's missing from American boxing. What mouthpieces do we have? We got De La Hoya, but he kind of sounds like a goofball most of the time.
Exactly.
Bob Arum, yeah, he's so old he doesn't know what he's saying at most of the time.
Right.
Who else do we have? Al Heyman is non-existent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who do we have in American boxing that's going to be a mouthpiece for his fighters? Eddie Hearn does a fantastic, like him or not, he does a fantastic job as the used car salesman promoting his fighters' brands.
Yeah.
And look, it works. He does a fantastic job in the UK. Unfortunately, he's just not acclimated to the US market just yet. He doesn't know which markets to hit. And that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. If Dana White can actually be that mouthpiece for Bam Rodriguez, all he has to do, Bam Rodriguez, is carry around the philosophy of Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly, but carry a big stick.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Just take care of business. Keep knocking guys out in the ring. Keep putting on master classes, ones that we don't see very often that don't include a ton of holding. And he can go very, very far. Once again, he's standing on the shoulders of guys like Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales. You remember before their pay-per-view, it was unheard of that featherweights were actually featured as headliners on pay-per-view.
Right.
They broke that ceiling,
Yeah.
paving the way for great men like Manny Pacquiao. No one thought Manny. In fact, here's a fun fact, guys, and this is the truth. Don Chargan was approached by Pacquiao's handlers saying, "Hey, would you like to promote my guy? He's going to be a big, big star." And Don Chargan passed because he said, "No, he's too little and he doesn't know any English." Yeah, he before he passed away, he said that was the worst mistake he ever made.
But see, here's the thing, Joseph, we have to be mindful of. Okay. And let's just take Manny Pacquiao or even Barrera and them, you know. They had the fights, man, that ultimately elevated them to that status. Okay. So it's two things we have to be mindful of. Again, Manny Pacquiao didn't have the greatest personality, but over a period of time, he grew into it. Okay.
Yep,
He,
yep,
he and the fights would sell himself, and his performance was his personality, dynamic. You know what I
that's
mean?
it.
Okay, so again, Dana White's going to have to do two things, man. He's going to have to build Bam's brand, but also let Bram know, man. Look, in order for us to get you to meet these benchmarks and get you to be crossover in a household name or somewhat rival, maybe like some of like you say Chavez, Canelo, and the list goes on and on. You have to meet these benchmarks, but it has to start with the fights. And each fight, if he wins, he has to give the audience wanting more. And if he can do that, he can be the guy. But I'm curious to see how he responds. Does he have the personality, and can Dana get him the fights to get him across that hump as far as being, crossover superstar in the sport of boxing?
All right. Well, we'd like to say, and you're right on the money, man, as usual, Rodney. And we'd like to say hello to our dear friend Peter Von Arts. Good to see you, brother. Now, once again, we're not speaking out of emotion, Peter. Do I like Dana White personally? No. He's made a living off of trashing our favorite pastime, our beloved boxing. But now he's considered to be the savior because he's the only one who has TV dates. He says Dana's an MMA guy. He's not boxing. Well, he's the only one with TV dates, so he very well better be boxing. Howard Cosell, we need look. ABC made Howard Cosell. The TV dates. That's what matters. If Howard Cosell were on his own, he would have never become Howard Cosell. Okay. Also, Muhammad Ali had a big part of making Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
His banter with Ali was, oh man, I wish we had that these days. But
But
I
just
wish
real
we had
quick
Muhammad
though,
Ali also.
real quick though, Joseph, uh, you can't minimize what ABC did for Howard Cosell as well. Okay,
Mm,
again, man,
that's
football.
what I'm saying. It's the TV dates.
It's I mean, he had the football
Incredible platform.
personality.
Yep.
He had the fighter in Ali to where they could, go back and forth and build it. So, man, you're right. That's a prime example if you look at Cosell. But, man, look at the network, the TV dates, and a supreme fighter with personality that he can
Yep.
go back and forth with.
That's it. That's it, guys. And look, I do this as well. I do commentary as well. And I study Howard. Howard is he's not only a linguist, man, he tells it like it is. And like him or not, he was the benchmark for a while.
Yeah.
He's what every commentator studies. How he painted that picture. And he started off on radio. That's why he painted that picture. He was used to having to do that on the radio. So, guys, we're moving on. Would like to say hello to our dear friend Anthony Manzano. Good to see you, my friend. Happy New Year to you. Says Joe and Rod, I believe what hurts Bam also is by the time he started boxing, the guys in his divisions were on the way out, so he didn't really have consistent rivals. And he doesn't right now. That's Rodney's point. So, look, you're going to have to study boxing history and what promoters did with guys that had that same issue. Look at Joe Louis in his era. Everyone called it the Bum of the Month Club. Well, then, damn it, that's what you do. Keep him active. Keep him in the consciousness of the mainstream public. And if he has to fight the Bum of the Month Club, then that's what you do. You can only do what hand you can only do with what hand you're given, right? That's the predicament, and Rodney pointed that out perfectly. We'd like to say hello also to my brother, Chief Funky Boxing, and yes, I will give you a call as soon as the show's finished, my friend. Good to see you, my friend. Also, Denise Wards, good to see you, sister. Happy New
What's up, Denise? What's up?
It's been a minute. Yep, she was listening to us when we were back on Fight Saga Radio in the Pugilist Corner. How do you like that? Good to see you, Denise. God bless you, sister. I hope you and your family are doing well. Also, my brother Jesus M. He says, yes, it's better for AJ to retire after the tragedy here he experienced. And that segues us perfectly into our next segment. AJ just announced his retirement from boxing after suffering a terrible, terrible, tragic tragedy with two of his very close friends and members of his team dying tragically in that catastrophe in Nigeria. We're not going to go too much into that, but I will say this. I'm not surprised, Rodney, because just like Tank Davis, if your head is not in the game, you have no business being in the ring because you can play football, you can play basketball, but you can't play boxing. That's when something tragic happens. If you are not mentally in the game, it's best that you don't even step in the ring at this level. Rodney, your thoughts on Anthony Joshua announcing his retirement? Did you see this coming? Do you think this is a good idea? And most importantly, do you think he's really retired? Because we've seen this from fighters before. Hey, you know what? I'm not. I just don't feel it. I'm gonna retire, and then 2 years go by, and no money's coming in, and then they still think that they have one championship performance left in them. Is that what we're gonna see from Anthony Joshua? Yes or no?
It's very well possible we can see that. It's very well possible. I'm sure he's shook up. over the passing of his dear friends. And right now, he has a wide array of emotions. And again, he's been a part time fighter for quite some time now. Uh, he had made his intentions known a couple weeks ago after he beat uh, Jake Paul. But, man, I'm never going to give somebody some slack and judge them how they're feeling, man. I mean, that alone, man, you have not one death, two deaths, and he's possibly, man, is carrying a lot of guilt. So, I don't want to, make any kind of judgment or say that he should do anything. Man, we all deal with grief in our own different ways. But at the same time, when you have a retirement that was kind of abruptly announced, we don't know if he considered what his financial future looked like or what he has, again, put aside to where he doesn't have to come back to the sport. And like oftentimes, man, so many fighters end up, trying to get that last big fight. And he probably can do it. I wouldn't imagine, I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie Hearn put him to the side and say, hey, a year from now, year and a half, we got still some traction for the AJ fight. You know what I mean? With a guaranteed payday. Who knows if that's going to be in the cards, though. But nevertheless, though, uh, I do give my condolences out to AJ. And we'll just see how he feels a year or a year and a half from now as far as what he's going to do with his career. But right now, he says he's retired. So we got to take him for face value.
Well, look, and one thing that hasn't been revealed yet, or not a lot of people are talking about, and they should, when factoring and sympathizing with AJ's decision, is that he was supposed to sit shotgun because his friend hadn't seen the country. He said, "I'll let you sit in front, and I'll take the seat in the back," and it saved his life,
Oh,
and it
wow.
it gave his friend the death sentence.
Wow.
So that's huge, guys. Honestly, with all the money that he's made and all he's accomplished in this business, I think he's like, you know what? After this payday with Jake Paul, yeah, I'm done. I don't need this anymore. Life. This is a reminder that life tomorrow isn't guaranteed, and life is precious. I'm not going to waste any more time in the gym. I'm not going to waste any more time focusing on beating someone up. I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to be happy. Because you know as well as I do, you've been in the gyms. It's the hurt business for a reason. The
Hmm.
wear and tear these guys take in just training is most people wouldn't last a day. And so, in my opinion, he very well may get over this, and he very well may miss the fan reception. Because talking to retired fighters, that's what they miss the most.
Yeah.
Miss the night where you feel like a gladiator and everyone is cheering.
Hmm.
They miss that. They miss being the focal point, the center of attention. But right now, that is the furthest thing from Anthony Joshua's mind.
Right. And, again, I can't blame him because, like I said, I know he's in a very emotional state right now. But as I said, these guys are gladiators by nature and heart. And it's nothing like them walking down that aisle on a Friday night or Saturday night getting ready to go do battle. They'll never be able to recapture that feeling again. Now, can he put his interest somewhere else to still give him the same type of gratification or the same kind of fulfillment? Well, that remains to be seen. So we know we'll see. But right now, uh, he has my deepest man sympathy and my condolences. And very tragic. And now that you say it, man, that he could have easily been in the front seat. I'm sure, man, that's a heavy burden to carry for him right now. So, man, just prayers to him right now. And if he decides to go away and not come back, I can't blame him. As far as his legacy, what he leaves. I think he leaves a legacy that was somewhat unfulfilled, that didn't meet all his expectations. But right now, that doesn't matter, man. I think right now, man, he's grieving, he's hurting, and we'll just see how it all pans out in the near future.
Yeah, this is. Boy, this is a real tragedy, and our thoughts and our prayers with the family of those who reach their untimely demise. And boy, Anthony Joshua right now, he's hurting. So our thoughts and our prayers are with him as well. And time heals all wounds. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. We'll revisit this later on. But yeah, AJ has been a marvel for the sport, especially in the UK market. He really revived that market, right, in the heavyweight division. So did Tyson Fury. Without them in the heavyweight picture, everyone right now is looking to Moses Italma, who steps in the ring on, let's see, he steps in the ring on it's coming up. I think it's the 24th. I think it is. Let me look. Um yes, the 24th in Manchester, England. My brother Thomas Triber is going to be doing the ring announcing there that night. Moses Italma versus Jermaine Franklin from Grand Rapids, Michigan, signed with Dimitri Salita Promotions. Um, Everyone's looking to Moses Italma to carry this mantle. He sure does look the part up to this point, but he's stepping in the ring with a guy who's a very solid gatekeeper type fighter, right? Um, but what do you think of everyone dismissing the chances of Jermaine Franklin, a very good fighter? And when he fought Anthony Joshua, he gave a lot of problems to Anthony Joshua. No, he didn't win, but Anthony Joshua didn't look good in his only fight with Derek James. He
Right.
looked terrible. And guys, make no mistake, a lot of that is because of Jermaine Franklin, how intelligent he is as a prize fighter. What are the chances? What are we going to see on January 24th in Manchester, England? Are we going to see another blowout? Or are we going to finally see Moses Italma go some rounds?
Well, man, he's a very young man. Okay, so um, I like Usama though, man. I mean, I want to make it clear, but I'm not quite ready to anoint him yet, though, Joseph. Like mostly everybody else is. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think that again, man, they've done a good job of building his career and crafting it, but uh, I think a Wally veteran can give him some trouble. I really do. But like I said, I don't know if it's going to be this fight because at some point he's going to have to, man, get in there and test himself. I mean, he did fight a Dylan White and made it look, pretty pedestrian, and he passed that test. But uh, I know they have a lot riding on him as being the next heavyweight because Fury, future undecided. Joshua where he is now, and they seem to be putting all the eggs in one basket though. So I think they're going to be a little bit still be careful until they get him where he needs to be in a real premier marquee fight. I don't see him having too much trouble in this next fight, but we'll see. You know what I mean? I would love to see him, man, at some point, maybe fight a Dubois and see where, how he matches up against him before he kind of starts, really going up to the, upper echelons and fighting maybe, you know what I mean, or being anointed as, the guy, in the UK now.
Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And one thing I'd like to focus on is Jermaine Franklin.
Hmm.
Guys, these are the real unsung heroes of boxing. You can't fight killers time and time and time again. Guys like him is what the sport needs and has always thrived upon. And no, he's never going to have a parade in his hometown. But he is a necessary cog that makes the clock spin. And you know what? If we didn't have guys like Jermaine Franklin, this sport would cease to exist. This is what purpose they serve. They're tough, formidable guys who will never be champion, but you're going to get some quality work out of this guy. And you're going to develop Moses Itama based on the problems defensively that Jermaine Franklin is going to present to him on fight night. He's guaranteed to go some rounds. If he blows out Jermaine Franklin, I will say I am sold. But there's do you remember when we were talking about Ryan Garcia and Edgar Berlanga, where the promoters really dropped the ball in their development?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Garcia and Edgar Berlanga.
Yeah.
When we were talking about this, it's like, look, this is what the 4, 6, 8 round levels are for. You've got to give them the right opposition to season them, focus, and put a spotlight on areas where they need development and they need work. We're going to see that on January 24th. I really like this fight for Moses Itawa's development. We're going to see exactly where he is. You could say that Jermaine Franklin is not only the real litmus test, but he's also the carving knife for upcoming prospects. He is, once again, one of the unsung heroes of boxing. And we all as fans should be appreciative for what these guys do and what purpose they serve. And my hat's off to Jermaine Franklin for taking a fight that no one wanted to take, right? Because everyone saw what he did to Dillian White.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. But guys, our hats off to the Grand Rapids native. I really like Jermaine. We'll get him on the show before he fights, before he leaves. And yeah, it'll be fun, guys. And look, later on this week, guys, once again, expect a surprise guest. Yeah. But look, if it's a blowout, Peter, I'll be very, very surprised. Dude, you're really extreme on your takes. Ah, geez. But I tell you what, we're going to go through the boxing calendar once again. And we're going to look at another fight going on later on that day from Las Vegas. It's going to be Raymond Murataya, that no one's talking about. Raymond Murataya versus Andy Cruz for Murataya's IBF lightweight title. And everyone's scratching their head and wondering why on earth is Raymond Murataya defending his title for the first time against this guy? That's because of the IBF. And you know what? This is what really irks me. They don't look at the style matchup. They just say, okay, this guy's ranked number 2, ranked number 1, and we're going to stick him in with the champ. That's it. Rodney, are you looking forward to this fight, or is there a reason why no one is talking about this?
Man, once again, I mean, it's a combination of things, man. I think, again, when you kind of force a fight, I don't want to say force a fight because you do have number 1 and number 2. But man, where is the buildup at though, Joseph?
Exactly.
Where is anything? See, that's the thing, man. It all goes hand in hand. Normally, when we in our era, number 1, number 2, okay, that was enough for us to be like, okay, man, who you got? Or man, I mean, it was an even fight, a pick 'em fight, and we all got excited. But man, this right here, I mean, come on, man. Even the venue, I'm kind of curious, man. The Fontaine Blue in Las Vegas, man. That's not really a uh, a
Fountain
destination.
Blue.
I mean,
Oh, Chingo.
man. So I don't know, man. I just, I think it's just kind of like, you know what? They're just throwing it out there and saying if it succeeds, great. If not, then maybe they feel like okay, we can just move on from it. But very surprising, man. They would have a number 1 and number 2 fighter and not really give it any kind of proper justice, man, to where it can have a good showing or get some eyes on it.
Well, this is what happens, and this is what we talked about last week. Can you still call Top Rank a promoter without any TV dates? Doesn't sound like they're doing a good job promoting this event at all. Just like the Xander Zayas versus Barasa Boo fight. Yeah, we don't even know where to find it. Obviously, this is going to be on DAZN because of Eddie Hearn. He is the lead promoter on this event. This just tells you how much everyone was anticipating this fight. He won it on a purse bid for only $800,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, here's why, guys. And this is why I question. I'm like, IBF, you know what? Start looking at the style matchups, because otherwise you're wasting everyone's time and you're leaving everyone with a really bad taste in their mouth on the product of boxing. We all know what kind of fighter Andy Cruz is. He's a Cuban national, right? He's a southpaw, and he's a dangerous one. But he's not going to take the lead. What kind of fighter is Raymond Murataya? He's a pocket counterpuncher by trade. So what are we looking at, Rodney? A real stinker.
Yeah, I mean, but see, those of us who know boxing, man, uh, it's nothing like that can kill your career quicker than, man, having bad matchmaking. Okay, because see, again, that's gonna separate you from being a fighter who is in demand and the public wants to see. But man, folks are not going to realize, or a novice is not going to understand. Well, you know what, man, he's just in with a bad stylistic matchup. No, I saw a boring fight. I was unentertained. I don't like that fighter, and that's what they're left with, though. So again, man, the promoters, man, like I think they here go another prime example, man. From everything that we know about this fight, I think it's headed to, a downward trend, Mr. Haran.
Yeah, look, man, and my heart goes out to Raymond Murataya, because there's a very good chance he's going to lose this fight. Eddie Hearn is calling this a 50-50 fight, but I'll be honest, Raymond Murataya, a lot like Teofimo Lopez, looks very ordinary and often struggles against the guy in which he has to take the lead. How did he look against Kevin Farmer last year, brother?
Trash.
He looked like trash, didn't he?
Trash.
He struggled with the guy Floyd Schofield got out of there in 78 seconds.
Yeah. Mhm. But, I don't know if they're just saying, man, maybe, and I don't know, just to correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think just under economic climate and the way things are, they might be saying, man, let's just trim the fat. Okay, let's just get these guys. I don't know if they're obligation or they have 2 or 3 fight deals with Top Rank. But man, let's just weed them out, and whoever are going to be our last, fighters standing, we'll just rock with them going forth, though. But it's just so much to kind of unpack, man. Because as you asked me a question earlier, man, have I ever seen boxing like this in this kind of state, man? No,
No.
not with a number one and number two, or number one and number two ranking. I want you to think back, Joseph. I mean, number one and number two rankings would be Floyd Mayweather versus Diego Corrales, Roy Jones versus James Toney. This is
Yeah.
what number one and number two used to mean.
Yeah, look, without TV dates, it's virtually impossible to build any prospect into an attraction. And look, while Murataya was being built on Friday Night Fights or Top Rank Boxing on ESPN, yeah, look, some nights he looked amazing. Like in the co-main event of Devin Haney, Vasil Lomachenko, Raymond Murataya demolished a guy that Shakur Stevenson struggled with, and that was Nakatila from Africa. Raymond Murataya, because it was a good style matchup. He came right at Murataya, and boy, Murataya had a two-piece waiting for him. Two-piece and a biscuit, brother.
Mhm.
And he whooped his ass on the biggest stage of boxing. And they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Top Rank really, under the guidance of Todd DeBuff, really has dropped the ball in a major way, where it's like, yeah, I don't even consider Top Rank a promoter any longer. They're glorified managers now who are pimping out their guys to anyone with TV dates. And this is going to be on DAZN. Can you even call those TV dates with only 600,000 subscribers?
Mhm. Yeah, I
Guys,
mean, it's,
this is terrible. So, hey, it's something to look forward to if you're not doing anything in 2 weeks. Ching gao. But guys, speaking of which, but look, let's just hope for the best, guys. Let's hope we're surprised. I very rarely am in this business, because I've been in it for so long. But let's just hope we get surprised. Let's look at the fight coming up this Saturday that even less people are talking about. And we spent some time talking about this. I did on a very small show, but look, Ryan Garcia and he was coming up. We're going to be talking about him. Let's just go to that real quick then. I announced, or my brother James Bell from the Boxing Source put out an article stating that more than likely Ryan Garcia, his fight with Mario Barrios is going to be postponed to March 21st now, because Ryan didn't want to train during the holidays. Gee. Oh boy. Uh, so, and I said, look, if there's any fight that deserves to be postponed or should be postponed, it should be that fight coming up this Saturday on January 10th from the Barclays Center that hasn't sold but maybe 500 tickets. Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith for Matias's WBC junior welterweight title. And no one's going to be there. Rodney, should this be postponed? Should Eddie Hearn just say, you know what? We're going to scrap this and we're going to feature it later on. We're going to feature it in the UK where we can have some real fans, where boxing is still a mainstream pastime. But that tells you everything you need to know about the state of boxing in the American market right now. You have a battle at 140, a style matchup. It is a fight of the year contender. I guarantee it. And it's for the WBC belt at 140. And no one's willing to pay the licensing fee and pick this up on TV. It's going to be on pay-per-view.com. And they've only sold like 500 tickets in the Barclays Center, which holds, what, 17,000?
right.
Should they do the obvious here and pull the plug on this event?
And yeah, I mean, in theory, that sounds like the thing to do. As I said, also it shows you just how Eddie Hearn can't get his arms totally wrapped around the American market and totally understand it, the ins and outs and outs and ends of it. Because again, I like Matisse, man. He's going to be in a very uh, fun, pleasing style fight, far fight. Or that's just who he is, though. But why put these guys out there and watch it? You know what I mean? Uh, and here's the thing that Matisse, man, he may look so good. He
I,
can't another fight because fighters will be like, well, he's not worth, what I mean, taking the chance. He's not a ticket seller, and it just opens another can of worms, man. So I would postpone the fight and try to give give them another chance, man, to where they can be successful, not just for this fight, but afterwards as well too.
Peter, Hearn, in my opinion, knows the American market. Just saying.
Okay.
Well, what gives you that idea? All the superstars he's created, all the attractions he's created in the American market. How many has he created, Rodney?
I can't think of one, man, and
How long has he had?
he's
He's
had
had
a
the past, what, 7 years to do it?
He's had Devin Haney. He's had Andrade. He's had, and the list goes on and on and on with the American fighters, man. And he just could never, find a footing like he did in the UK.
So this is why I tell you he doesn't know the market, Peter. Regis Prograis, when he signed him, where does he stage his homecoming? Where he was born in New Orleans, even though he grew up and his entire career was in Houston, Texas, a very healthy market. Look, Peter, people actually know who the guy is. it's a damn shame they don't know who his fighters are. And at the end of the day, that's what this boxing business is built on, the attractions. And if you can't build attractions, who cares who you are? And that's the gist of it, Peter. Jeez. But hey, thanks for voicing your opinion, my friend. So yeah, I think they have to yeah, they really should postpone this, guys. But otherwise, it's going to be on pay-per-view.com, slated for this Saturday, in front of nobody. And this is for the WBC crown at junior welterweight. This should be a big deal. This should be a big deal, guys. But it's not. Speaking of Ryan Garcia, everyone's talking about this right now. Ryan Garcia took a lie detector on some outlet. I think it was World Star Hip Hop. And he passed. And he was asked 2 questions, like a series of questions, and they snuck this in. First was, was your fight versus Devin Haney, was it a tough fight? And he said no. And he passed. And then he was asked, did you cheat? Did you cheat against Devin Haney? And he said no. And he passed. He passed. And what was Bill Haney's response? Oh man, there's something wrong with Ryan. If he's lying about cheating against my son. Why are the Haneys still having such a big problem about this? Ryan Garcia tested positive. He took his punishment. Why are they still going on about this, Rodney?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, they need to just okay for Bill and Evan to come to the reality that what it is life after Ryan. We can still have a very successful career. Let him be the stage show and the side show that he wants to be, and let me just focus on my son's career. You know what I mean? But it appears to be bad blood there, and they haven't quite gotten over it yet. And Ryan is Ryan, so again, we all know with him though. But I just wish the Haney's man wouldn't entertain it and just focus on their career and what they're do as well. And that window is getting short for them as well too.
Yep. So here's the actual quote. This is what he said. The shame of Victorville. Ryan Garcia still trying to convince people he didn't plead guilty to using performance-enhancing drugs is beyond nasty work. It's disturbing behavior. Is he all right? No, he didn't plead guilty. In fact, he's always been consistent in saying, I never knowingly took that. And he made the case with the state of New York that it was tainted, the supplement that he was taking. The supplement was tainted with ostarine. And so in Garcia's mind, he's telling the truth. And that's neither here nor there at this point. He's already been suspended for a year. He already served his penalty. He already gave the money back to his promoter. What more do they want? It's like, dude, are you just trying to make light of the fact that your son and your game plan for Ryan Garcia failed miserably? Look, they already took away the loss. They already made it to a no contest. What more do you guys want? He passed the lie detector test. What more do you want? Like, dude, take your no contest like a man and move on. You failed. You took him lightly. You thought he was insane. And you had the stupid game plan of taking it right to him, falling for the first trap that he set for you. It's like, come on, are you guys that stupid?
Yeah.
It's like the oldest trap in the book. Jab, jab, hook off the jab. Geez, I never saw that coming when this guy, his only weapon is the left hook. You failed. And just be thankful that you got it turned to a no contest. But as far as Ryan Garcia goes, boy, Rodney, what are your thoughts about him postponing this fight and putting a fight card on the back burner for an additional month, all because he didn't want to train?
You know what, man, Joseph? Just looking at this, even on the surface level, man, this doesn't look good. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised, man, if we wake up one day or we get the wire that says the fight has been canceled or postponed even more.
Mm.
Uh, man, Ryan, and I thought about this, though, man. I think Ryan is creating his own brand right now, and he's starting to deviate, kind of like a online sensation, like what Jake Paul was, YouTuber, and setting himself up to say, okay, you know what? After I leave Golden Boy, I'll have my built-in fan base, and maybe I can promote myself. I mean, I really don't know his end game though anymore though. But the idea that he's not taking Mario Barrios serious, that's the fighter that can easily upset him right there. He already was going to have a hard time with him, in my opinion, with a focused Ryan Garcia in a good training camp. Now you throwing all these other elements, man, in. It is a recipe for disaster, and I can see him losing and looking very bad facing a Mario Barrios, Joseph.
Well, he looked really bad in his last effort against Rolly Romero, and Rolly Romero doesn't know how to box. Mario knows how to box. No, he'll never be mistaken for one of the elites of any division. But look, man, if you're going to compete at this level, we just talked about this with Anthony Joshua. If your mind isn't right, and if it's not in the game, you have no business competing at this level. These aren't no hopers anymore that you're facing. If you want to make that money, son, you're going to have to fight live dogs. And this is a live dog. Goodness gracious. Ah. Yeah, this doesn't bode well, guys, for Ryan Garcia, but we'll see. Look, everyone thought he was crazy and he wasn't serious before he fought Devin Haney. And it was all a mirage. So we'll see, guys. But nonetheless, facts are facts. And from what we're hearing, yes, they're going to postpone, even though no one's reporting it yet. They will. Don't be shocked, guys. We told you first that, yes, Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios and the entire card is being postponed for March 21st. There it is. There it is, guys. Look, and that's going to be just about it. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on, Rodney, while we're still on the air, brother? Anything you'd like to talk about? Any topics?
uh Man, not yet. Let's just kind of wait to the end of the month. As I've always said, I think Teofimo and Shakur will be a good uh, idea or prequel to maybe let us know what this boxing year is going to look like. And we'll see how that fight card plays out. And as the upcoming weeks progress, um, we'll be talking about it. And maybe, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about attending the fight. So I'll know in the next 7 days. So I'll keep you guys posted.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's great, brother. You know what? It was just announced. Munguia seems to be the front runner to get the vacant IBF title fight with Oslis Iglesias. Honestly, if Munguia isn't shop worn, right? If he's not too damaged after being knocked out against with all due respect, a lesser fighter than Oslis Iglesias, is he going to be able to handle that? Because I'll be honest, if Munguia can put pressure, hard pressure, and take his best shots. I actually like this matchup, brother.
Mhm.
I like this matchup. This would be ideal for a guy like Oceles Iglesias, especially against a guy who's a very popular Mexican fighter at this time. Your thoughts?
Again, man, Munguia's always been a very rugged fighter that's gonna, never really in a um not an elite fighter or anything like that. But, again, man, like we always say, style makes fights. We'll see um how the inactivity may affect Munguia. When is the last time Munguia fight though, Joseph? How long has it since he fought Munguia? It's been a while.
Um, no, he fought in. I want to see. It was May on the Canelo card in which he beat um, Bruno Sarachi, the guy who
Okay.
knocked him out.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
okay, so honestly, I like this for the progression of Ozeles Iglesias. Cuban fighters, they don't react to pressure all that well because
right.
they don't see it in the amateurs very much.
Hmm.
Guys like Jaime Munguia, they don't do very well in the amateurs, so they turn pro very quickly. And where Munguia's still a young man, he's got a ton of fights already because he didn't have an amateur background. But can he take the heat at this stage of his career? And once again, he's still a young man, but in the immortal words of the great Eddie Futch, when you fight like that, you have a short but glorious career. Because with all that incoming, with all that wear and tear, with all the damage, um, yeah, yeah, you don't have a long shelf life. You're not going to have the career of Floyd Mayweather Jr. But look, I like the matchup though. I love it, in fact, and we should find out if Iglesias is the boogeyman, if the real boogeyman at 168. Because what do we like to say on this show in the business, Rodney? There are no boogeymen, just non-ticket sellers.
Yeah. There you
So there
go.
it is. There it is. Honestly, I like it though. He comes to fight. He always shows up, and damn it, he still has those heavy hands. Um, yeah, I really like it. Also, I want to get your opinion on this. In a
Okay.
recent interview with Floyd Schofield Jr., he said that Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz is a 50-50 fight. Fact or fiction? Rodney, do you agree with him or no?
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Keyshawn Davis is the superior fighter, in my opinion. But maybe Schofield sees something that I don't see. Okay, and you know, I think Ortiz is a good fighter, but if I'm looking at it, I just think that Davis is a far more talented fighter. I think he has a higher ceiling. I think he has a different level that he can still go. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but we can only find out one way, is that's when they fight.
Yeah, look, this is exactly what Top Rank was hoping for. Because the last time we saw, well, Jermaine Ortiz, he's a boxer puncher and he's a guy who doesn't stand toe to toe with you. And he made Teofimo Lopez look very ordinary. Because once again, Teofimo Lopez has problems whenever he's forced to take the lead. He's never been an effective aggressor. And we're going to see that on display against Shakur Stevenson. But because he struggled, and that was Super Bowl weekend, everyone saw it, Rodney.
Hmm.
So Keyshawn Davis doesn't have that problem. He is an effective aggressor, and he has heavy hands, and he's going to whoop his ass. And so this is going to really elevate the brand of Keyshawn Davis. At 140 pounds, this is the best thing that could have happened to him. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's gonna be a terrible fight." Jermaine Ortiz doesn't like to fight. Yeah, it's going to be more resounding when Keyshawn Davis knocks his ass out. This is not a 50-50 fight. But there it is. One last question. Joe and Rodney. Most boxing promoters include clauses in their fighters' contracts in where where winning a world title automatically adds fights to the deal. Is that the case with Golden Boy and Ryan Garcia? No. They have, to the best of my knowledge, until a contract past 2027. And Ryan Garcia is thinking that the year that he was suspended automatically counts towards that. He is dead wrong. It's how many times you step in the ring, right? That's what fulfills your contract with your promoter. That's it. So he's got a contract that extends to 2027. He insists that this is the last fight on his contract, but he's wrong. He's got at least 2 or 3 more fights. And Golden Boy, if he can finally get it together, they have big plans for him. But that's a big if. If you had to guess, Rodney,
Uh-huh.
do you think he's going to grow up in
Nah.
2026?
You are who you are, and based on what I'm seeing him still sparring streamers on online, fighting in his living room, uh, being all machismo with the public. Man, Ryan's not focused on his career right now. He's not, man. I think, man, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I don't want to see it because, again, great kid, man, wonderful talent. But, man, I wouldn't be surprised, man, if he starts to unravel as the year goes along. And I really think, man, it's a lot of bad blood in this thing between Ryan and Golden Boy. It really is, man. And I think that he's at the point, man, where he doesn't want them to make another dime off of him. And it's really painful. And he dreads fighting underneath their banner. So these are some things we can look at. And don't be surprised. You heard it from me first. If that Michael Barrios fight is canceled.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh my goodness, man. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. Very good. You're right on point, brother. And before we leave, JumpTube says, "Hey, what about Agit Kabayel versus Glass Joe?" Oh man, that's pretty harsh. It's Damian Niba, right? Damian Niba from Poland is who he's fighting. And no, he's not Glass Joe. Come on now. That's just terrible. Look, he got this assignment by knocking out longtime heavyweight sparring partner and veteran Joey Javeco. He stopped a guy who ordinarily is very tough. That's how he got this assignment. Is he going to win? Is he going to win against Agit Kabayel? Not likely. He's coming into the ring 17-0 with only 11 knockouts. Do I like this assignment for Agit Kabayel's homecoming? Yes, I do. They had him originally in the ring slated to fight a big puncher from Albania. And they said, screw that. We're the next in line to fight Fabio Wardley. So we're not going to take on that heavy-handed badass from Albania. We're going to take on Damian Niba. He's going to give us some work. He's very durable. He's undefeated. And he doesn't have heavy hands like Uni, right? The guy who was slated to fight him earlier. And I told you that they were making a very good decision. But yes, that's also happening this Saturday from Germany. They're trying to build Agit Kabayel as a legitimate attraction and a big ticket seller, bringing him to Germany. Frank Warren knows the game. What are your thoughts on Agit Kabayel, and could he be a major player in this version of the heavyweight division? Who do you see stopping Agit Kabayel in the landscape now that Joshua Fury Usyk is on his way out? Do you see Agit Kabayel being that guy, Rodney?
Frank Warren can do it. He can. I love Frank Warren as a promoter. Uh, and I think it is an opening for him to, you know, have some success. Now that, Joshua is no longer fighting, you have Usyk that doesn't want to fight under the current, climate and banner when it comes to the U.S. So maybe the timing is right for him to do it. You know what I mean? Uh, I would have to go back and really kind of study him a little bit more. You know what I mean? I would
Well, let me
hate for.
just let me just rattle off his list of skins that he has on his resume. It's very
Okay.
impressive. He's
Okay.
26-0 with 18 knockouts, and he is a favorite of Turkey Al Sheikh, competing regularly on Frank Warren's cards in Riyadh season. He knocked out Arslanbek Makhmudov, first guy to do it. Knocked him out in 4 rounds. He
Okay.
knocked out Frank Sanchez, first
Okay.
one to do it in 7 rounds. He knocked out the Big Bang Zhilei Zhang with a body shot in 6 rounds, becoming the
Okay.
first guy to do it. And now they're trying to make him a star in his homecoming in Oberhausen, Germany.
Okay.
I think this kid has something. This
Yeah.
is a tough dude who's going to rip you to the body and make you prove that you're in fight shape.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's very impressive right there. That's very impressive. And now I remember, man, Sanchez is a tough customer, and the Big Bang Zhang, man, to knock them out. So the key is if they put him in the ring and continue to, where stylistically he can perform and do what he's been doing, I think he has a very, very high ceiling. And maybe by the end of the year, man, he gets a big fight, Joseph.
Yeah, you know what? That fight versus Fabio Wardley is straight fire at the in Wembley Arena in London, England, or yeah, man. Oh gosh, in Riyadh, that's a great fight. Honestly, the future looks very bright for Agit Kabayel as well as Frank Warren. He's got a lockdown on the heavyweight division. He pretty much has every major heavyweight prospect on his roster. So I tell you what, guys. Yeah, Moses Itauma's on Frank Warren. Fabio Wardley's on Frank Warren. Agit Kabayel is with Frank Warren. Yeah, future looks bright over at Queensberry. But that's going to just about do it. Rodney, thank you for being on this show on a special Monday night presentation. Your parting shots for our listening audience, my friend.
Thank you again for tuning in. It is January, Aquarius season, my birthday month. But man, I'm excited to talk boxing with you guys, man. It's going to be a big year. And Joseph, keep us posted on the surprise guest, man, because I don't even know, and I want to be surprised. Okay?
Yep, I sure will, guys. It should be either Thursday or Friday. So, guys, and of course, I'd love for you to be on here with me interviewing our special guest. I'll let you know and call you tomorrow about it. God bless all of you guys. And on behalf of Rodney Green, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to WaraWeek Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
WA.W Holdings proudly presents WaraWeek Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Heron.